Hello. Hope everybody's doing all right. Today is Monday, February 10th. My name is Aaron Hall. I'm an attorney at Joseph and Hall in Aurora, Colorado. And I'm here to give this week's update on what's going on in the world of immigration. And today I wanted to talk about what happens if ICE arrests me or a loved one. Um, First, last week in the Denver and Aurora areas, there were a number of operations by ICE, and I know that they made a number of arrests. I know that they knocked on a lot of doors and scared a lot of people as well. So I thought I'd take this chance to talk about what happens in the case of an ICE arrest. And for purposes of this little chat, I'm going to talk about people who've been here for a while. So people who've lived in the United States for quite some time and are encountered by ICE and maybe arrested by ICE. So, first thing to know, expedited removal is a term you might hear. And expedited removal is basically the process of deporting somebody really quickly. So basically the order of removal is just done by the immigration officers themselves, and the person can be deported very quickly. Expedited removal traditionally was only able to be done basically at the port or near the border, within 100 miles of the border for people who entered unlawfully. They've expanded expedited removal to be able to be applied all throughout the United States. But they still have a constraint that they can only do this process for people who have been in the United States for less than 2 years. And so if you've been here for more than 2 years, you should not be subject to this process. If you have prior orders of removal or an active order of removal that's never been enforced, you could be in a different situation. But I'm talking about people who've never been ordered removed. They can't do an expedited removal if you've been here for more than 2 years. So what happens? They make an arrest. They can take you to the detention center that would normally be in Aurora, Colorado, the Geo Detention Center. And there, you should be eligible to seek a bond from an immigration judge. So you have a bond hearing where you have to present documents showing that you are not a danger to the community, showing that you have ties to the community and are not a flight risk. And if the judge is satisfied that you are eligible for a bond and that you can demonstrate those things, they can issue an immigration bond. And once you post the bond, you would be released from custody and able to attend immigration court hearings for removal proceedings down in downtown Denver. If you live in Colorado, that's where it would be scheduled. And removal proceedings stretch over the course of many months, sometimes many years. And you have to keep the court updated with your address and attend those hearings. And in those hearings, you can apply for relief from removal if you qualify. So for longtime residents, one of the most common applications for relief is called cancellation of removal. Cancellation of removal, for people who don't already have their lawful permanent residency or their green card, is for people who have over 10 years living in the United States. They have a qualifying relative, so that would be either a parent or a spouse or children who are citizens or permanent residents. The qualifying relative has to be in a situation where they would suffer extremely unusual and exceptional hardship upon the deportation. And that's established with lots and lots of evidence, documentary evidence, testimony, including sometimes expert testimony. So it's a big case. But you also have to prove that you are a person of good moral character and have been for the last 10 years, and that you don't have any disqualifying criminal convictions. If you win a case for cancellation of removal, you could go from not having any immigration status when they started removal proceedings to coming out on the back end with your green card. So that's one of many different applications for relief that exist, but it's one of the most common ones. And the point is that just because you don't have immigration status and you're encountered by ICE does not mean that you are necessarily bound for quick deportation or that you're not going to be able to get out of custody. I think what's important is ahead of time to understand your circumstances. How would ICE treat me in my legal circumstances? If you have prior orders of removal, or if you've been in and outside of the United States a lot of times and had border encounters. Your circumstances might be different. And the circumstances that you have in your case and the way that ICE can process you will dictate, I think, what the steps you should be taking now before any contact with ICE should be. Because there may be a situation where you want to prepare a packet of documents showing that you have lived in the United States for more than 2 years so that you can't be subjected to that expedited removal. Or there may be a circumstance where you want to prepare a bond packet in advance so that you're basically ready to go if you're ever detained. Or there may be a circumstance if you have a prior order of removal where you think it makes sense in consultation with an attorney to prepare what's called a stay of removal application and have that all ready to go. Different circumstances are going to dictate different strategies, different decisions, but I think that it makes sense for lots of people to consult with an immigration attorney ahead of all that so that you're preparing any documents you think should be prepared, so that you're ready to go and you're not just panicking if you have an encounter with immigration and customs enforcement. That is our short video for today. I want to remind you all that we're doing these videos on Mondays at 12:30 Denver time in English, on Wednesdays at 12:30 Denver time in Espanol. So you can check in on those. We'll continue to post these videos as well as information on our website about anything that's happening in the news. So I encourage you all to follow along. Make sure you understand your situation. Make sure you understand your rights and what you can be doing to prepare. Thank you.